we're standing now, we're standing outside the headquarters of the European Union. Yeah, that's what I wanted to hear. And you all know that 3 days ago, the Human Rights Council of the United Nations put forward a very mild resolution calling for the implementation of international law in the case of Israel and for an investigation into possible war crimes committed by the State of Israel against Gaza. And one article of that resolution went as follows, that the resolution condemned the killing of 2 Israeli civilians as a result of rocket fire and urged all parties to respect international humanitarian law and human rights law. The European Union, all 26 members of the European Union, voted to abstain on this. The Irish government, which supposedly represents you and me, said that they abstained on this, and the reason that all these governments gave was that there was insufficient condemnation of Hamas rockets on Israel. Now, I've already read you out that there was a condemnation, but obviously that was not enough. They wanted to grovel. They wanted the nations of the world to grovel and to claim that the rockets of Hamas against Israel counted less than the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Palestinian dead. Now, even more disgusting than this for me is the fact that the Irish government has boasted ever since, don't worry about it, we've given the Gazans €500,000. They've given the Gazans €500,000 to buy sticking plasters to put on the wounds caused by the weapons that we have provided to the State of Israel. And for me, these €500,000 are 500,000 pieces of silver with which the Irish government seeks to salve its conscience, and its conscience is very easily salved. Now, our consciences are not for sale.
Palestine will be free.
From the river to the sea.
Palestine will be free.
What do we want?
Justice.
Here today at the March for Gaza in Dublin. You can hear the chants behind us. We want justice. In our thousands, in our millions, we are all Palestinians. The reason we're here today is because Israel has embarked on the 3rd mass killing spree in Gaza in 6 years. This one so far has killed over 800 people, most of them civilians, about a quarter of them are children. It's systematically bombing neighbourhoods, it's bombing hospitals, bombing the UN school. I mean, these are outrageous war crimes, and we have the spectacle of the Irish government deciding at UN level to abstain on an appointment of an inquiry of investigation into the possible war crimes. Simply outrageous. You can see the depth of the feeling in this country. This is one of about 20 actions taking place around Dublin today. Irish government is so out of step with the people on this issue. That needs to change. In the IPSC, we're calling on the Irish government to work at EU level, to use its influence, as small as that may be, but it's still influence, to call for the suspension of Israel from the Euromed agreement, which is a trading agreement that grants Israel trading privileges with the EU, which basically means they don't pay full tariffs on goods that come into Ireland. It's basically rewarding Israel for its terrorisation of the Palestinian people. And secondly, we call for an international arms embargo, or for the Irish government to call for an international arms embargo on Israel, so that it's not given the weapons to carry out these brutal assaults. And it's not a radical demand by any means. Amnesty International called for this. And I think the Irish government should be to the fore in calling for this if they are serious about their commitment to human rights. So our message for the Irish government is simple: trade sanctions on Israel and an arms embargo on Israel. It would also be great if they kicked the ambassador out of the country. That would be fantastic. Over 10,000 people, I think 13,000 people have signed a petition online calling for that. And there's another petition calling for a similar thing that has a similar number as well. So, let's do it. Let's stand up for Palestine.
Mahmoud, welcome to Dublin. Can you tell us about your situation at the moment?
Thank you very much. My name is Mahmoud Abu Rahma. I'm speaking with you from the center of Gaza City, where my office at Al Mizan Center for Human Rights is located. I speak with you today with a heart full of sadness. We had never that we would live a day like this. We go to 8 areas around the Gaza Strip where the fighting stopped, and we see an area that is as if hit by the harshest earthquake ever. This is the worst destruction in the history of the Gaza Strip. We've been working hard to count and recover bodies that have been decomposing under the rubble of houses. We have been working very hard to count injured people who've been left to bleed for days and days. What's been happening is criminal. I am a human rights worker, not a politician. And I say, like the Israeli army, snipers killed innocent people, including human rights defenders and children yesterday in the West Bank. Very close to 1,000 people killed in the past 18 days. And it's horrible to count 210 children and 114 women among the dead. This is a result of the flagrant violation of the rules of international law, which is not respected one bit by the Israeli army. We condemn these violations. We call on people all over the world, we call on governments all over the world to condemn these violations of international law and of human rights that have devastated the full population of the Gaza Strip. We are very outraged by the United Nations. We are very outraged by the European states, which have not spoken against the aggression and did not speak anything against the violations of international law that have been leaving people, innocent people in their houses, people in hospitals, people in ambulances being killed as they are watching us here. We call on you to pressure your government and to give them the word here from Gaza that this violence will never end without justice. The siege of Gaza must stop now, not tomorrow. It has been killing us. The violations of international law must not go unaccounted and unpunished. Otherwise, we will live this criminal reality once and once more. I thank you all for your gathering today in solidarity with the victims of human rights and international law violations. And we salute you. Thank you very much.
Gaza is that it wants to end terrorism in the Middle East. In the last 19 days since Israel's latest onslaught on the Gaza Strip, it has killed almost 1,000 Palestinians. It has killed a child every hour. It has killed children playing football. It has bombed youths watching the World Cup semi-final. It has prevented medics from treating the wounded. It has obliterated families. It has bombed homes. It has bombed mosques. It has bombed churches. And in the last week, it advised the citizens of Gaza to take refuge in UN schools. And then, like shooting fish in a barrel, it killed 15 of them. If these are not acts of terrorism, then I don't know what is. This decision will come back to haunt you. When you and your party come to us looking for our vote at the next election, we will remind you that when innocent civilians, an imprisoned population, was being slaughtered in Gaza, you stood on the side of the oppressor. Because there is no room for abstentionism. There is no room for neutrality when innocent civilians are being slaughtered.
Mandate yesterday wrote to all major employers around the country, ask all major retail employers, calling on them to cease sourcing their goods from the occupied territories in Israel. We think this is the least that those employers can do. As the union that represented the Dunn Stores workers back in the 1980s during the apartheid regime, those workers took a stance. Our union took a stance at the time. History has proven that stance was correct. And we're saying now that our stance is correct as well. And in 20 years or 30 years' time, we want to look back as a movement of workers and of people in Ireland, saying that we did something during this occupation by Israel of the Palestinian people, and we're now calling on employers to at least show some sympathy for what's happening by removing Israeli products from their shelves.
Women to the sea!
Palestine will be free.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine!
Free Palestine.